Hey, y'all. Hey, and welcome to another edition of Theories and Thoughts podcast with your hostess, Anya. And
Fancy.
so, welcome to the show. Today we have two people. Well, one of them is a really good friend of mine, and I always talk about her. Her name is Patrice. She'll be here later with Devin. They have the relationship corner where they talk about relationship stuff, but it all started with teenage love. So I can't wait for you guys, excuse me, you guys to hear from them. So did I say who we were?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to do something different by not doing a ticker, but try to do the share our stuff while we're on. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Anywho, Fancy, how was your weekend? What did you do?
I worked all weekend. Those who don't know, I don't really like Mother's Day because of my whole custody battle with my youngest daughter's dad. So it just I don't know. I just worked. I mean, I went and got my daughter and then I had to take her back. It's not much of a day when you gotta take 3 hours out of the day to travel. So
True. Why he just didn't let you have her the whole weekend?
I mean, so I got her on Friday, but
Oh,
so they 3 hours Friday and then also 3 hours on
oh,
Sunday.
it's 3 hours to. Oh yeah,
Well,
one and a half going back. You're
yeah.
right. You're right. Well, this weekend I actually went to a WNBA game. It was my first WNBA game. The beauty of it was that here's the thing. I say we always scream, women should do this, women, this, that, and the third. And I found that I wasn't doing my part in, watching women and just paying attention to different things like that. So I had the best time ever. We sat on the third row. I felt like, look at me. Right behind the Dream. Let me tell y'all something. The Dream basketball team, them some shooters. Them girls cold blooded. Now I was rooting for the Wings, but in another situation, another place, another time, I'd have been shooting for them Dream. Baby, they lights out, lights out. I mean, them girls so cold. And the rim. Have you ever been to a WNBA?
No.
The rim, the goal, it looks like it's Fisher Price. Like it's so short. It's smaller than the men's goal. But those girls were hooping. The wings reminded me of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I can talk about them. Sometimes the Cowboys wait until the last minute to act like they're gonna do something. Like they wait till the last minute to be like, oh yeah, we're playing a football game. And sometimes it works in their favor, sometimes it doesn't. The Dream came out, pow, 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 pow. So most of all their shots that they hit, they went through. The Wings, on the other hand, they need to go back and they need to have some shooting practice. That's all. That's it. That's all. They need to practice on that. What's up?
All right, so it's the Wings. They're from
Yeah.
Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
The
I was
Dallas
it was a dream, and then we had featured oh my
Angel.
god, yes, Angel McCautry. Angel not still with the Dream though, right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, she went to like Phoenix something or something in
Yeah, I
Arizona.
can't remember where she went, but she's not with them anymore. But I mean, they had some cold blooded players, honey. They had some cold blood, and I'm sitting behind that bitch talking mad ish. Okay, listen, don't do
Oh,
me. And I'm standing there like, and here's the thing. Growing up, I was a basketball fan. Like I was totally the Bulls, baby. That was my team, and not because of Michael Jordan. It was because of Dennis Rodman. Hence, how I'm always coloring my hair. I just felt like he was such an individual that he didn't care about nothing else, other people. And I mean, he cared about people, but I'm saying he didn't. He
he
wasn't
did his own thing still.
right. He wore that wedding dress and stuff. I just like individuality. So that's why I like them. I used to know the whole lineup and all of that. So that was like my freshman, sophomore year, stuff like that. My junior and senior year, I enjoyed it, but I didn't watch it as much until I moved to Dallas. When I moved to Dallas, I was a Mavs fan straight up and down. And New Orleans didn't have the Pelicans at the time. So Dallas. And I used to watch the Mavericks all the time. Like, it was never a game that I missed. So I need to get back into that as well. But I really want to follow the dream, really pay attention to them, see what they're doing. I think I'm gonna buy the league pass so I can watch the WNBA games. Because here's the thing, these girls don't make, some of them don't make as much as I make, as much as we make. They don't, because they don't have the sponsorships and they don't have the viewership and they don't have the people coming to the games. So again, I want to do my part in that. And it's not very much. I mean, I spent maybe $200 on those tickets. I bought 3 tickets, maybe $200 some dollars, maybe. And we was third row, literally. Third, huh?
I said that's nice. I've never been to a WNBA game, but when I interviewed Angel, she was talking about that, and my whole thing was like, I think we did at one point try to reach out to some people within the WNBA because they ended up seeing her interview, but like, hey, like, why aren't y'all trying to advertise? Like, we don't cost that much. So I'm just saying, if you're trying to get some more exposure, then it seems like y'all need to be, taking those measures for them. But
maybe I don't know. Maybe we should try that again. I don't know. I mean, they have come a long way. Actually, they play at in a university stadium. I mean, in a university arena here in Dallas. So I did that. One of my good girlfriends, Patrice, came to Dallas, and she came for a wedding. So I got to spend some time with her as she was getting made up, and spend time with her mom, Miss Pam. Shout out to her. And Patrice bought my yearbook. Let me see. She bought my yearbook to me. So I had purchased the yearbook, so she bought it to me. Shout out to her for that. And then my cousin had a cookout, and so I went to her cookout before and after the game. And Sunday I actually spent time with my friend that I'm seeing, and I went to work. So that was my weekend. I had a good weekend. Packed, Today I actually volunteered with Cabby Cares. So Cabby is a clothing company. This is their shirt. This is my little shirt.
It's cute.
Yeah, you can wear it any kind of way. If you look on my Lady CEO page on my Instagram page, you'll see I post a picture of all it's 4 of us, and we all wearing them in different ways. And Cabby partnered with Dress for Success Dallas, DFW, and it was a very, I enjoyed it. One of the ladies said, "I'm trying not to cry." I was like, "Girl, cry." They got to pick out 5 different things, and it's always a blessing to be a blessing.
Yeah,
because you can so easily be there, and it was single moms, so you can always, some of us just one paycheck from needing somebody help. And let me tell you something, some work clothes. I remember when I first started at Bank of America, because when I first started at Bank of America, I was originally working for myself 100%. And then my business went under. And when I started at Bank of America, I had to go buy work clothes to wear. And, if I'd have known about Dress for Success, I could have went and got some stuff from there to work, because it was business casual. Now we're a casual environment, but I still wear business casual clothes. But I think it's such a great thing to have. You grab your couple of pieces and you can go to Walmart, because I showed what I did when I first started at Bank of America, girl, going on 14 years. Could get you a cute shirt, go get you some pants from there, some slacks or something like that. So that was great.
But Cabby is a fashion brand, or
it's a fashion brand. It's a fashion brand. Yeah, one of my girlfriends, shout out to Tara Lynn. She's a part of the Walk of a Woman. She's come several times, and she's a stylist for them. She wants me to become one. I'm like, girl, no. I don't need nothing else on my plate, honey. Nothing else. But I do love what Cabby stands for. It's not about the clothes, it's about the woman. And their stuff is very it's not no trash. It's real good product. It costs money. It's a little bit pricey, but it's worth it. I have a couple of pieces. So, you buy you a couple of pieces, max it up and everything. So that's how my weekend went. I finally got my Roe versus Wade article done and submitted for Angelique. So that was cool. And of course, everybody's been talking about Kevin Samuels this weekend.
Yeah.
Ciao. I don't, like Charlamagne said, I won't call it karma because heart disease is a lot of Black people suffer from that. I just felt like, a guy that went to high school with me, he was like, let me research this man. He did a thorough research. He's an attorney. And he was like, when Kevin talked to the men, it was basically telling them to man up and get into their role. For the women, it was like tear them down, and because the men was superior, So
I didn't know it was heart disease, but I think that's kind of
a heart attack.
Oh, okay. I thought you said a heart disease.
Well,
I mean, my whole thing is though, just it seems like a high value man would also be taking better care of himself. I don't know. Heart attacks can still occur, even then those that do take care of themselves. But I just still think it's a little something. But I was kind of shocked because we published like 2 articles about it, and we kind of had some mixed reactions from our followers. I was shocked because some of them I know have been following us for years. Then they were like, they called us tacky and said it was misinformation. And I was like, oh, okay, well. But my whole thing is like, I mean, this is a magazine for Black women. Were we supposed to be crying or something? Like, we gave them a rest in peace post. I mean, what? And then we reported factual news. Like, they had information to support that. So I stood behind them. If that's what they wanted to publish, then hey, because y'all not talking. I mean, are y'all on every other media outlet page talking about Kevin Samuels? Like, it's the news. So I mean, but it is really, the whole event was really crazy how he passed and all of that of as far as what we know. But I just think it's really odd, and then I saw people that were like, oh, he really helped our marriage and so on. And I was just kind of wondering how. And then someone, I think the same person that called us tacky, was saying like he was teaching women how to be concubines or something. And I was just like, I don't know. I mean, I didn't really get that, I guess. So if because I never really just watched the full episode. So I'm like, if you're a high value man, then was he really teaching women to be concubines? I mean, and yeah, that was just a lot. It was very unexpected though.
Demetria Lucas gave a really good point. She was like, to tell women to act like women, Black women especially, to act like we should be sad about this is abuse. And I'm not happy the man gone, but I could care less. And that's it. I didn't follow him. The stuff that I did see of him, I didn't really agree with. I feel like if you're a relationship guru, you don't present a problem and then talk about you. No, you present a problem and you give a solution. That's what therapists do. That's what we do. Whenever you're trying to help, he didn't do that. He was like, oh, you think you this? Oh, no, you're not that. No. And some people will call it tough love. I think that it was his ego. And I really thought that that he had a lot of feminine ways, and a lot of gay men, and I hate to say this, some I know growing up, they had issues with straight women. They had issues, like they would try to tear him down and different things, and I felt like that's what it was with him. So that's that on that. So anyway, shout out to Diddy. Diddy, I had to pull up my thingy. Diddy has a partnership with Motown Records to launch a new R&B record label and Love Records. I'm trying to figure out what happened to the Bad Boy. Maybe they got sued too many times or from not paying their artists. I hope that he do right by these people. Diddy is a mastermind. He does find talent. You just hear so much about him not paying people.
Yeah.
So that's my thing.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just like, I mean, people aren't really seem like into record labels. It's like to me anymore, because it's like the
Right.
artists come up with their own labels too. So I'm trying to figure out what he's trying to do because ain't nobody really trying to let you control them in 2022 like that no more.
That part.
They can go viral or have success on their own. I mean, look at Glorilla and them right now and the summer anthem. I tried to tell y'all about it in the swagger chat.
Girl, girl. I went back and listened to some of that because y'all put Sweeties on there. And I was like, yeah, this ain't me, sis. I'm good. I am good. I'm good. Speaking of tacky stuff. Anyway, I'm kidding. Shout out to her because this is making money. What I was supposed to say? Oh. So it finally comes out. Ray J got tired of the Kardashians and decided to say that the whole sex tape was a business deal. He said that the whole sex tape was a business deal and that, it was, I guess they had did the sex tape. And then the mama was like, well, we're going to make some money off this. So when Kim was on their show, the Hulu show, talking about, oh, Kanye got this for me or whatever, Richard was like, nah, y'all gonna stop playing with me. And then he came back and said that the reason why Kim they would still be together, but Kim stole some money from Brandy. So yeah, that part.
Oh, I didn't even see that part.
Girl, I'm nosing. I was just saying that. So I thought it was very good for that black man to be vindicated. I mean, is that the right word?
I've never used the word before, so don't make me laugh.
That black man got his name cleared because for so many years they tried to make it seem like Kim was the victim. But now we know that she been had the tapes and there ain't no other tapes. That she know all about everything and ain't nobody trying to put her business out there.
But to think your mama will put your business out there as a, that's just something.
Girl, mama. I mean, I'm gonna say it like this. That was got her whole family on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Her whole family capitalized off her having sex on tape. But let that have been a black girl. Moving on.
Well, before we get into the commercials, I just want to acknowledge some of the comments that we have. So I see Clarence Ogburn said, hello, beautiful ladies. Hey, Clarence.
Hey, Clarence.
My sister Skeeta, Priest Bernardo is on.
Hey, Priest.
And Sniggy Snig said, I like him. And a Priest said, coming from that family, it didn't surprise me. And he said, really it was. Oh, really? It was OJ? Oh, he's saying OJ put the family on. I don't know. But y'all, we're about to go into the commercial and then we'll be back with our guests. Just a minute. I can get to it. Want to kill, like, okay, well, why are you here with me,
Right.
Like they started,
we do need men, and I had a chance to just talk to her and tell her, and she was like, well, you do it all this, that, and third, and I say, I have to.
Drop the mister, just call me Rick.
Hey, Rick.
Okay, hey, girl.
I don't need nothing, no, sis. You don't need to work on that. Maybe this right here. You know, sis, because it's so, Sam. What the Well, thank y'all for joining us for this episode of Theories and Thoughts Deep Dive.
Hey y'all, hey, and welcome back from the commercial. Fancy, it is so funny that that look you give me. You be like
I don't know. You know me and my facial expression, so
Welcome, Patrice and Devin to Theories and Thoughts podcast. Also, you guys remember, Theories and Thoughts Deep Dive can be found on the Exposure TV app. All right, tonight, you guys, as I told you guys, we have a very good treat. It's a treat because it's my friend.
My friend.
We talk like all day, every day. Like she's like I had a relationship with Fizz, I had a relationship with Patrice, y'all. They're a part of my tribe. So this was like really cool. I was like, okay, we gotta get y'all on the podcast. So here
Hi,
we
Nancy.
Greetings.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise. Nice to meet you as well. And nice to meet you, Devin. I love that name, by the way. That's my that's kind of my alias when I'm doing stuff I ain't supposed to be doing.
Oh, really? So I better be looking out to see if you're gonna,
Yeah.
Devin, also my friend.
Before I catch a case, right?
The whole case.
All right, come on, Earring. That's all.
Hold on. Before y'all do that, where do you live?
She live in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need not to go to Baton Rouge no time soon. They may be looking for Devin, like, oh, your name.
You know, that reminds me of that show with is a big white woman, and she has the same name as a man, and she takes his identity.
Okay.
Yes. Melissa McCarthy or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. I like that movie.
All right. Well, come on, Earrings and Cold Shoulder. I see you. Anyway, so welcome to the show, Patrice and Devin. Tell our audience.
Hyping me up, y'all. Let me stop. Okay.
Who's gonna go first? Tell our audience about yourself.
Go ahead, Patrice. Ladies first.
Hey, I thought we talked about you leading the way. You know, I like to let a man lead.
I like to.
He feels outnumbered today.
Yes, well, you know, I am going to take his lead because he's giving direction for me to go first. So I'll go.
Awesome.
So first, I want to say thank you, Anya. As Anya said, we've been friends. I've been knowing Anya for a long time, but within the past year, we've grown to be really close. So thank you. We are honored that you even invited us to You and Fancy show. So this is exciting for us, and we haven't done a chat in a while. So this kind of helped us get back into the groove of things. So just to introduce, I am Patrice. That's Devin. We are part of the Relationship Corner with Devin and Patrice, and it's where we tackle or conquer relationships.
Conquer trauma
in relationships, one conversation
at a time.
We normally say it together. That wasn't my part. So that's why I'm looking at him like, come in on your part, sir. So we started, Devin, last summer. Last summer was our jump off. Mm-hmm. And we will go into how we know each other, how we met. But we started, Devin invited me to be his co-host on the Relationship Corner last year. We started last summer. And so it's just been an exciting journey. We have not even scratched the surface. Both of us have been married. We're divorced. We both are single parents. I have 2 young boys. Devin has a son as well. We come from pretty large families. We've dealt with a lot of stuff together and individually. And we are actually pretty transparent people. And we love to share. We love to talk about relationship topics. That is how we even come to be able to have a talk show and we'll share our journey. We love just talking about relationship things, bouncing stuff off of each other. We've grown to be really great friends, almost best friends in the weirdest way. And so, here we are. Devin, did I miss anything?
No, I think you did excellent.
Well, look at that. 10 points for Patrice.
I think you did.
And Patrice, it's been about 2 years or so now. It ain't been
for us? Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shortchange us. My bad.
We started really, as you guys know, I always talk about relationships. I'm very transparent with being a 40-year-old and being single. And we started talk. We got connected. I get a lot of inboxes, and Patrice was one of the inboxes, just talking about relationship at this age. And I think that God has me at this age being single for a reason, for people to contact me because I'm very transparent. And we started talking like that. So Devin and Patrice. So we're talking about teenage love. So tell us your story.
Go ahead,
Patrice like to
Devin.
talk. Patrice
Oh,
like to
I
talk.
like to talk. Okay.
Listen, go ahead, I'm gonna tell us.
I think our story is about the same. You
Mhm.
want to start? You started, Evan.
So
Tell it correctly.
before I
That's how
before
whoever
I
started get to go from 18. Y'all know that, right? Like they gonna be able to
before,
say whatever it is first.
yeah. So before I start, again, Fancy, and I do appreciate you guys inviting us on. So that's truly a blessing for us to share with you all and to kind of bask in your in your place, in your zone, as I want to say. So I do appreciate you guys for that. I guess me and Patrice started uh, years ago, and let me be honest. I was a young kid living down the street. I saw this pretty young thing, and I was like, you know what? I got to get at that. And so that's how I started. We actually lived a house away from each other. I stepped to her. We exchanged. We didn't really need to exchange numbers, because there was no cell phones back then. It were house phones.
Yes.
We stayed right out. We stayed a
Right.
house away, so
Literally,
I
a
don't really
house
need a number.
on the
I
same
can just
side
knock
of the
on the
street.
door, right?
Mhm.
Same side of the street. Knocked on the door and say what's up. But it started from there, and we grew a friendship, grew a relationship. I wouldn't even say a friendship. I don't think we understood what friendships were back then. I think that we just was in a relationship. We liked each other. We look good together. Other people say we look good together.
We were
We had
really young
fun.
though. We were really young. I was 14.
Yeah, yeah. We had some fun,
Mhm.
and a lot of things came out of that. Being young and dumb,
Mhm.
I made decisions as a young man that I think any young man would do, and that is I had multiple options, with the main one, and Patrice was the main one, and I decided to have other options because it was presented to me, and so from there, that's how a lot of our back and forward of breakups and trauma and drama in our relationships was created, and that carried from high school into some of college. We I don't say we lost contact, but we wasn't communicating because we had our own adult lives and we had other things going on, and so we at one point decided to come back around and just started talking, just having conversations, open conversations. And there was a question that she asked me a couple of years ago, and I will let Patrice ask the question. Say what she said. The question that she asked to me, and I'll turn it over to her so she can take it from there.
Okay. Yeah. Do y'all need us to pause or? Okay, keep
No.
going.
No, let me. Well,
No.
okay.
Go ahead.
Well,
Nancy.
I just wanted to acknowledge because I see Shay Dixon is on, and she was saying teenage love is pure, innocent, and beautiful. My teenage love and I are still my teenage love and I are still in love 23 years later. We have a bond that will never be broken. Okay, so now what I want to know what you asked though, Patrice.
That's awesome.
Pure innocent.
Well, they still together.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that's cute. Yeah. Congrats to them. Yeah. And so just to reiterate, I was 14 when I met Devin, or I was turning 14. So I was just entering high school. For those of you all that's from the New Orleans area, we went to like two popular high schools. So I went to 35. Devin went to St. Aug, which is a male African American Catholic high school. So we were a year apart, and for those in the area, they always wanted the 35 girls because we were the prettiest. Facts.
And
So, it was like a badge of honor, I feel, for me to
I am not
even
getting into
date
that.
him. But that's neither here nor there. So, anywho, just to kind of fill in a couple of holes, Devin is absolutely correct. Like, Devin was like my first love. It's just, oh my
Some of them
God,
is correct.
just it was ridiculous. And as time went on, what really transpired was Devin started driving. Devin got a license. And I think this had to be his junior year. I was still a sophomore. And him and all of his friends, had gas on their chest. And I could not hang out like that. My mom was like, you're not getting in the car. You're not hanging out. You're not doing all that kind of stuff. You have to be inside at a reasonable time. Well, that's where the options started coming in with Devin, because Devin wanted to hang out naturally. So he had flexibilities that I did not. So that's when other people started to come into play. And I remembered when he started dating this one particular girl, and I found out, like, I remember it. I'm better now, but I used to remember it like yesterday. Like, I was just so crushed. I was so brokenhearted that he would pick, like, cheat on me, like, with this girl. So what I didn't, and then after that, I had issues with my dad. My dad left my mom to be with another woman. And so that compounded the issue. And it just started off a whole spiral of events with me and Devin, that we could just, then I started talking to other people. Then he had the audacity to be upset that I was talking to other people. And it was stupid. Like, y'all, when I tell you, we could, if we had social media, Devin, I think we could have been able to get a reality TV show out of the
No,
shenanigans we went through. You name it, it happened. So as years progressed, I realized that I one, like, he's right, like, a few summer I was dating some, I was dating, and it hit me that I had this issue of thinking that I was not enough, or in order for me to be the better option for a man, that I had to have all of these certain qualities. So to bring you back to the girl, her mom let her stay out later. Her mom allowed her to have company all times of the day and night. And so she had things that or available flexibilities that I could not. With my dad, I kind of felt the same way, that he apparently felt that this woman had better options than what me and my mother could provide. So he left. And carried with me through, not only, it permeated through everything, my career, um, just every facet of my life. So this one particular, so mind you, Devin and I, we go get married, divorce. And the thing is, our families always were kind of connected some kind of way. So at the heart of it, we're family, like, we're friends and stuff. Our families are connected. But we're not together anymore. So fine, whatever. So we grew this friendship of talking and bonding about just relationship stuff, our divorces and stuff like that. And so one day I called him and I said, I I realized that my issue, I was telling him what I was going through. I said, it stems from when you started dating this girl. And he and I really, really had a heart to heart about that. I said, I always felt that when you selected her, it created this it rooted this plant in me that that sprung a lot of fruit, that she was the better option. And so we really had a heart to heart talk about it. And you want me to tell him your response while I'm talking, or you want to give?
yeah, you can go ahead.
So his response to me, and I know I'm paraphrasing. He was like, it wasn't about you being, not her being a better option. If I had to pick, you were the better option. It was all of these things that he explained. But even with him telling me that, because I had sat in that and it started bearing fruit, I couldn't believe him. It took me a long time. I think even now I'm still dealing with uprooting the tree fully, and unplanning and really combating all the lies that I fed myself. Because that was like when I'm almost 40. That's almost over 20 years ago. That plant has been in my soul and in my heart, believing that. And so it's been taking me some time, and I'm glad that he and I was able to kind of have that conversation to start my healing, because he had no idea that he was the cause of it, or his actions caused it, and he apologized numerous times.
She still want me to
We started
apologize.
making him apologize, stop making him apologize for it, but it's just one of those things. You never, it's amazing the love or these relationships that we form, even just with other opposite sex, like your friends, how things could be so traumatic, or you don't realize how traumatic it is until you become an adult and you have to deal with it.
And so I want to add too, there
Mhm.
was I never said anything that where that came out of my mouth directed to her saying, hey, this person is the better option. I didn't like you or any of that.
Mhm.
It was stuff from my actions that she took with her and assumed that it was this stuff. Right?
Right.
Nothing I said. It was just the actions that, hey, and listen, it was actions of kids that what we were doing at the time. So it wasn't like, okay, it was this big old conversation. No, listen, I ain't with you, or I got this other side piece, whatever it is, we are doing it as teenagers. So that's how those breakups were, because we went back and forth for years.
Mhm.
But that's how those breakups went. It wasn't anything in particular, but the actions of those seasons and those times and these relationships that we went back and forth with created the foundation that became, who she is at the time.
So here's my thing. Here's my thought. And I don't think I've ever asked you this, Patrice. So if Devin wouldn't have ever apologized, do you think you would have started the healing process?
Yeah, but maybe in a different type of way, because I finally, the root finally came up, that, so I probably would have, I did talk about it with my therapist, because I have a therapist that I talk to, as needed at this point. But it just was a blessing for he and I to talk about it. And then now it's a blessing for us to share, because, be honest with you, I told Devin I didn't want to talk about this anymore.
And then I asked you.
And then you asked me. I told him I would talk about it on different platforms, maybe, but I felt like we had talked about it enough and, dealt with it. And he thought that was selfish of me, but I'm like, we've talked about this and people could refer back. But I feel that God would have allowed me to heal from it for in another avenue. But clearly it was a reason why he wanted me and Devin to have that conversation. And I think in some ways it probably was eye-opening for him, and I'm sure it's helpful in his current journey right now.
No, and it was
That's what
it was eye-opening for me, and it was it's not that and listen, we had deep conversations as teenagers, right? And we got into conversations where I'm like, listen, this stuff is bigger than us. When we were teenagers, and she didn't understand what I was saying, but I understood what I was saying. And so when she came to me and said this after all of these years, while I know I hurt her and she hurt me, I didn't know that it was that deep and it went to that extent of it. Because honestly, ladies, if I knew what I know now, if I knew that then I would have tried to do what I could to release her back then, because I need her to be, I believe that there's greatness in all of us, and I needed her to be great in the way God created her to be. And I believe that when we have these things that is burdens or is holding us back or things that we don't acknowledge, then it keep us from, producing our greatness and walking in our greatness. So if I had the ability, and if I have known that this was an issue 20 years ago or 19 or 18, however long we want to go back, I would have said I'm sorry then, because I needed her to be who, God created her to be.
Right. Fancy, you have anything?
Well, I'm curious, like, to know, like, for Devin, like, how has that, I guess, knowing that now, has that changed your actions or anything, or how you date women, you know, or how you proceed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, so that happened before then, right? My thought process of how I was dating women or how I am dating women um, changed. My transformation changed before us having that conversation. What it did, that conversation just allowed me to, uh, I guess, uh, put it under a microscope to fine tune the things that I was doing to make sure that my actions don't have residue, negative residue, if I am, me and the young lady part ways. That throughout my dating, because I was married, and when we had the conversation, I was divorced at the time, and so, but I really haven't got back into the dating world during that time. I was still like I'm kind of old school, so I am about these streets really. And so I wasn't really trying to do social media or get on all of these dating platforms. I'm like, listen, can I go to a coffee shop? Can I do, can I do a coffee shop, or can I do, library or something? And so that process was, seriously, I'm serious, man. I mean, so that process was kind of, I was trying to, and actually she kind of helped me with that, trying to get to the point of dating women again, in a new space. And so I had to look at it differently on what I did before and where I am today. And our conversations kind of helped me create a new understanding of how I needed to move in regards to women.
So let me ask you this, because I don't think I ever asked you this. So Fancy asked you, did you change how you did? So when Patrice came to you and was like, look, it's because of you that I'm not feeling worthy about myself and this, that, and that. How did you truly feel in the beginning? Because so many times we're like, oh, that was so long ago. So get off the gas. Like, stop playing. Were you like, come on now, are you serious? Or did you really take it to heart when she told you?
No, I really took it to heart. I really took it to heart because I knew we was going to have this conversation at some point. And I told her that. Like, I knew this conversation was going to happen at some point in our lives. And so I took it for what it was, and her honestly asking me that question. Now, understand that we, at this point, we were started to communicate a lot. So we was already building a friendship throughout this process. And while, our families, and she didn't say this, but she's kind of alluded to it, but our families knew each other before we knew each other. So, we were always, all our families always was close. So we were starting to become closer, and she felt comfortable enough to ask that question, because we always was kind of in that space, but we just never went in that space. And so once we went there, she felt comfortable enough to ask that question. And, I don't know how she reacted, or, truly how she reacted once how I responded, but I was totally open to it because I knew that it had to happen. And I knew that God created me to be in a space to have this.
What?
Are you still frozen? No, you're not frozen anymore.
No, you had froze up a little bit, Devin, but he back.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like you was like if he's on, okay.
Yeah.
But when I presented it to him, he knew I was serious. Because those that know me know I like to talk a lot of trash. Y'all know I joke 90% of the time. But there is a 10% where I'm serious. And so, I was going through something at the time, but like Devin is the type of person you could go and talk to about that type of stuff. He's always been like that. So, I didn't feel uncomfortable with, going to him or have any hesitation with going and, talking to him about that situation.
All right. So here's the thing, we typically look at young love and we be like, you'll get over it. So since you've dealt with this, because I would honestly say, like, since I heard y'all story when y'all first, Patrice, me and you talking about it and stuff, I look at because my niece is 20 and she be 21. And at first I was like, that's your little friend. But now I'm like, you know what? She might really be feeling some ways about this.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you're talking to, I know, Patrice, you have sisters that are teenage or early 20s. Devin, I'm not sure about you. Do you look at their relationships a little bit different now? Yeah. And how do you handle that? Like when you're talking to them now?
Well, I have a sister that's 22 and she called me about all, her stuff. Well, they all called me about stuff. And so some of the stuff I'm like, ah! But I know that I'm sister and I know how it is. And so I just listen and try to give them non-emotional advice or insights because when your emotions are all in it, you can't see things objectively for what they are, right? So I am the voice of non-emotion, the voice of listen, these are the facts. This is possibly how you're going to feel. It is okay. And you're going to open yourself to love again. And this is possibly, you may run into this again, but please don't let it define who you are as a person. People do things for a variety of reasons that have nothing to do with you. You do have to own who you are and your part, but you can't take on some of the other stuff that people do for whatever reason they decide to do it. It hurts. You can't take away the pain, but I promise you, you'll get past it and you're going to be all right. And you're going to have a lesson that's going to allow you to either be better or to love better the next go round. So that is in a nutshell how I typically deal with them. Why, after, I let them sob and cry, and then, that's my motivational moment for them.
So there are several ways that I handle it. It depends on what point they are in, what space that they're in at that particular season or time. But I try to listen and just give them the real. Like when I was 17, 16 years old, I did all this crazy stuff too. And I'm not saying that I would have listened to the older folks if they would have said it, but I wish I would have listened. Here's what I'm gonna give you, the same wisdom that they was trying to give me. Now it is your choice to use it in the situations that you're in. I don't know if you will. If you do or you don't, I'm gonna be here to help you through this process. But I would rather you come to me and ask me questions about the process before you make a decision. At least you will have multiple decisions to choose from than making a teenage, inexperienced, emotional decision that's going to cause you a lot. And so I try to keep that line of communication open because I want them to be able to come to me and have that conversation. So I do not have my youngest is my youngest and only is 10, but I raised a 26-year-old like she was mine since I was 15. So and she's a female. So I had these conversations with her when she was younger. We had the sex talks. We had all the conversations that she wanted to have. And while she thought that I was going to be a different way because I was daddy, I sat back and allowed her to share what she wanted to share and wrapped her in my love. Because at the end of the day, she needed to know that I was going to be there regardless of what she decided to choose. And I was. But I gave her real, when I needed to, give her truth and not necessarily, I guess, be a authoritative figure, but I needed to show her tough love at times and say, listen, this is what I told you was going to happen. This would happen. And this is the result. This is why I told you not to go down this path, because I knew what the end result was going to be. But regardless of this is the result here, I need you to know that you're still greater beyond this.
Right.
beyond this decision, you are still great. I still love you, and you still have the opportunity to be whoever you want to be. So, and that's my approach.
That's awesome because for both of you guys, because I find myself looking at my niece and I'm like, ugh, I could just strangle the hell out of her sometimes. However, I think back, how did I act? Like you said, what was I doing at 20? How did I handle things? Was I listening to, an adult? And now some things I did do differently, but I'm starting to push back and allow her to make her mistakes. And it's hard as hell. It's hard sitting on your hands like, girl, look, I see this a mile away. I know what's going on. But I love how you said that you pour into her, Devin, because even how Patrice said, because Patrice, you said that you was left thinking that you and your mom wasn't enough for your father. And Devin, you're like, no, I tell her, even though you made this mistake, you're still enough. And that's one thing about my father that my father did for me. He reaffirmed me. That's why I started modeling. That's why I started doing a whole lot of things, because every time was, baby, you beautiful, baby this, baby that, like he made me realize that somebody would want me and these different things. So
I would like to say this too. The same way females need that, the daughters, the sons need it as well. We have to, speak affirmation and life into their lives as well. We have, especially in our communities, we have this tough love thing with males. Men don't cry. This a whole lot of, I can go down a whole list. I don't know who's watching, but brothers, if you have sons, love on them. Tell them the truth. Be real with them and open. That tell them you love them, hug them. I tell my son every day I love him. I let him know that, he is one of, the greatest gift that God has ever given me, because I need him to know. And this is what I tell kids and families and parents all the time. I need him to know what love looks like in this house, instead of him trying to go outside to find love. And when he see it real and authentic from me, then he can decipher when somebody trying to give him false love in the world out in these streets. So, brothers, love on your sons. Happy belated Mother's Day to the mothers that's out there. We so need you in this world, in our communities as well. But brothers, I need you guys to take your place and love on your sons and stop producing negative examples. That is not positive for our communities. That's real talk. That's real talk.
Amen, Bishop.
Basically, something.
Well, I think it's really beautiful that you all are, still friends after all this time. And also, I'm glad to hear, how Devin responded to Patrice's question and how he took it, because I know I've tried talking to some of my exes in the past and just kind of explaining how they've made me feel about things. And it was always kind of like how Onion said, that was years ago, or they're not even trying to hear what I had to say, So to see a man do that is really like, okay, man out here doing this. Okay, so this is different for me. But
very rare.
New Orleans man, girl.
It is very rare. I'll tell you that. It's not common. So Fancy, it's an anomaly.
Yeah, but I think that that's really beautiful. Like I still have friendships with some of my exes, I guess you say, or like we're social media friends. And actually just you all having this conversation, it made me think about, I've had quite a few teenage loves, but I was just thinking about one. And I was like, I always wanted to he actually had inboxed me one day, and we were just kind of talking, and like for one, I realized two things. He never knew how young I was. And for two, he was just like, well, you never really talked to me or made it seem like you wanted a relationship. But then I think after he really realized how young I was, although I did tell him, I guess he just never really paid attention or something. He didn't notice I wasn't driving because there was a major age difference between us. But it just kind of made me think, like, oh, would he have actually taken me seriously? But now I see him married and everything, and I'm just like, wow, like he really was interested in you, but you just the fact of how I've expressed before in the past how I really just used to be afraid of people, especially men. Like I never could really talk to men or really hold conversations with them. That was just really hard for me to do. So I never really like with dating people. We didn't have a lot of conversations. So yeah. But I think this is really sweet.
Yeah, and two, one of the things that this opened up when we first did we launched Relationship Corner. It opened so many different conversations. It's not just about these relationships that a man, a woman have. It's relationships that we have with family members, with friends. It's a plethora of things. I had a brother that reached out to me and was like, "Man, listen, I think that there's some stuff that happened with us with a female that was unresolved, and I think we should have a conversation about it." And I appreciated him reaching out and sharing that and feeling that we needed to have the conversation. While we were good, we still didn't talk about it and have some type of resolve with that to say, you know what, we good. And so I am saying that to say that it's not just about, because me and Patrice get on each other's nerves sometimes. That's just the love that we have for each other, right? What I'm saying is that there are multiple relationships that go through stuff. We've been through hell together, right? We've been through a lot, and we have seen many seasons and many sides of each other. But we, God placed us back in each other's lives for a reason to, one to just help each other heal and become whole in different areas, but also to create a platform like Relationship Corner to share, things about relationships, trauma in relationships that can help people heal and become whole. So
yep, and so Devin did touch on this, but I did have to because I ain't mentioned that me and I would talk a lot about online dating. And and that's how I really started getting into doing chats, sharing my story about online dating after divorce. And I did have to push Devin back into the dating world. I think that's what also caused us to talk a lot more, because I'm like, Devin, listen, you keep talking about dating, but you're not doing anything,
Yeah.
So he didn't want to online date. He finally online dated. So we went through that journey. It's really, I know it's warped, warped to think that he and I used to date, and now I'm trying to help him to date. And so we went through this journey, and I'm telling you, yo, watching Devin dates was an eye opener for me on just how men are wired, how men think, what not to take personal, how they could be aloof about certain things. It was to the point I was like, do not do nothing. Don't even call your friend. Just please call me first so we could bounce ideas off of each other before you do anything else. Because some of the stuff his friends was telling him to do, I was like, oh my God, you're not gonna be by yourself forever. You're not gonna be in a and then it's funny because I'm like still out here trying to be in a solidified relationship, and he beat me to it. So I didn't help him, and I need help myself.
I be trying to help him.
I'll be trying to help me, Devin.
I be helping
She don't
you,
want to listen.
friend.
She don't want to listen.
Yeah, you help me. I ain't, but Devin,
She don't want to listen.
I guess, yeah, Devin, you be trying to help me a little
She
bit.
don't want
But
to listen.
it's harder for us than what it is for them. So, but
I guess. I don't know.
It is. Devin actually answered my next question, because I was gonna ask about Relationship Corner and how did it start and what made you guys just say we're gonna continue doing it. Because at first I thought it was just a conversation about teenage love, but then all of a sudden it was Relationship Corner.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And that's what it always, that was, what it always was leading up to. To tackle different, because we didn't just talk about our relationships and our relationship between each other. We talked about our relationship with our mamas, our siblings, our grandparents,
divorce,
everybody,
we've talked about it, numerous of things, and so we have a lot more topics that we definitely want to cover. Life has been, it's probably been me a little bit, but we're going to get back, into the swing of things because we have so much ground to cover, so many things and so many topics that we want to share and talk about. So we're excited about this. And like I said, we haven't even touched the surface. So.
And so one of the things that's in our communities that is important is relationships. And so the things that can make and break us, our spirits, is the relationships that we have between individuals and our family members. So it is extremely important that we continue this platform and this fight to deal with the trauma in relationships, because it is imperative that we create a different foundation that can help us heal and to become whole, and to have healthy relationships throughout our families, our households, and and relationships outside our households. So it's very important and imperative that we continue this conversation.
And Anya, the teenage love was just kind of an introduction, a fun way to introduce ourselves and how long we've been knowing each other, and the impacts that it has had over our lives. Because there were things, it wasn't all Devin. There were some things that he experienced that I did.
I remember that boy coming over there and the fight at the club.
Man.
Okay, I'm gonna stop. Go ahead, friend, because we gotta wrap it up.
Yeah, right. So that was just a fun way of it, talking about it. So that's pretty us, how we got here, and we're grateful that sharing our story has opened the conversation and help give people an eye opener and help people to evaluate how they are operating and why they're operating, because we do things and sometimes we really just don't take the time to assess the why. And the why is really important. We look at people and just think, people are not born just doing some things are hereditary, but some people just really walking around broken and hurt and don't know how to deal with it.
Right.
Yep. So that's it.
Well, you guys, is there anything that we did not cover that you want to make sure that we cover?
Listen, this is something simple. Stop, look, and listen, right? We have to sometimes stop and back up and look at our environment and our landscape and the relationships that we have in our lives. Listen to those individuals and yourself and see how it is helping or hurting you. And then from there, you have to decide on what you're going to do about it. Is this helping you to produce greatness, or is this hindering you in your lives? And sometimes that just can't come from you. Some people have their relationship with God. I believe in God and Jesus Christ. That may not be the road for everybody. So have your therapist on speed dial, or your friends, or your groups, whatever it is to get you to your healing and your wholeness. Let's stop, look, and listen and figure it out, because listen, we all have greatness to produce and we have to do it. So let's do it, please, because the world is waiting on each and every one of us to inspire the world the way we're supposed to. And so that's all I want to share.
Okay, then.
Amen to that. I have nothing else to add.
You can find Patrice, Devin and Patrice at Relationship Corner _DP on IG, and the Relationship Corner with Devin and Patrice. I was reading on Facebook. On Facebook, their chats are very animated, y'all. I love them.
I'm the animated one.
I absolutely love it, and like I said, I appreciate y'all. So we appreciate you guys for joining us tonight, and we gonna see y'all a little bit later.
Thank you, guys.
Good night. Bye bye.
Have a blessed one.
Y'all too.
So yes, that was good. That was a good conversation. Why this eye is low, and sometimes whenever I wear lashes, they make my eye look even lower. I have a lazy eye. That's what it is. It's a lazy eye, and it's been bothering me all night. Okay. So as for me, and I feel like I got a shiny face. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, let me wrap this up. I am Arya TM Davis. You can catch me on ladyceo.com. Also, my link tree is linktree.com/ladyceo. I am on Clubhouse as Lady CEO. Remember, lady is spelled with an I. IG is lady, .ceo. And my email is arnya@ladyceo.com. Fancy.
You guys can find me everywhere as Swagger Magazine, or for my personal accounts, Fancy Swagger, as well as on Instagram and Clubhouse.
That last comment.
Born Power Allah Dunn Stewart said, "Peace, everyone. This sounded like a great discussion. I missed most of it, but we'll tune in on time." And you can catch the replays also on Spotify, YouTube. I mean, you can watch on here, but if you're more, of an audio person, the replay is going to drop Friday on Spotify, and you can just listen to it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to address. Fancy, you have something coming up.
Yeah, so I have my Vibrant Visibility and Marketing membership that is opening on the 18th, which is next Wednesday. So right now I am doing a discounted price of $97 a month. Or if you sign up starting next week, then it's $197 a month. But it is a membership for Black business women who consider themselves to be introverted and or who struggle with showing up for their business. So it is a great opportunity for business owners. And then also we have our Reclaiming My Mind event on May 26th, which is a mental health event.
Yes, and I have a book. Yeah, I'll be on the lookout. It will be dropping Juneteenth. I am very excited about it. It's called Born to Lead. I'm just putting it out there right now so y'all can be ready to purchase. And that's all for right now that I can think of. So we're gonna holler at y'all a little bit later.
Peace and blessings.